All right, I won't use my music this time because when I get thoughts that just suddenly start popping up all over the place, I figure it's the best time to start talking because I never prepare for these videos. I just do them when I'm inspired to do them. And lately I've been inspired to do them every day, sometimes twice a day. And I don't mind because it helps me express myself. And as I like to do from time to time is to give a fair warning or fair use of words. Um, sort of, I need to give a disclaimer of some sort to protect the feelings of everybody. We are a communist after all, and nobody likes to be told anything that other people think about them. So, I think people should be quite open to hearing what people think about them. I think it's very wise to tell people what you think of them out loud. It's you got to have the difference between your thinking and your feelings. I mean, if it's in your feelings what you think about them, you really got to speak up or you're going to lose them. And people are disposable here, I know, but not in real world. Only in Holly world can we be so I don't have a word. Anyway, I need to talk about blood and I need to talk about red hair with that blood. And there is a connection. And I don't know what it is yet, but everything I say is coming from my imagination. I want to disclaimer there. It is my imagination, and I like to be able to talk about what's in my head. So the more I talk, the more clarity I get, in all honesty. Sometimes I go off rails. I'll go way off rails because I don't mind saying out loud even the most absurd things because everything's freaking absurd to me. So I don't mind. Other people mind, especially if they're just tuning in and they didn't get the rest of the story or something and they just take bits and pieces and they think they have a story, and that's everybody. That's how we work. We're just so quick to move on. And, for interest's sake, right? You got to keep interest. Well, I said to myself right off the bat, if I'm going to be doing this, when I started this in 2016, started to do videos about what I knew because I was downloaded with the truth about everything, I wasn't ready. I hired two. At the time, I still had money. I owned Mind Miracles hypnotherapy practice at the Family Wellness Center, and I had a couple of dollars able to spend some. Oops, I'm sorry. Somebody at the door. Oh my God, where was I? Some about Mind Miracles. Blood. Oh my God. Sorry about that, guys. I just got totally distracted. Now should I start over? No, I never practice, and I like to just do improv. It works better for my spirit, but I just can't for the life of me remember what the hell I was talking about. So, my original, I did have a topic when I came, and it was blood. And I want, the imagination is free. Everybody has one, and everybody's entitled to one. You're born with it. You got a free imagination. You can think of anything. You're going to be influenced by your parents. Now we are influenced by a village, right? And that's not right. It really isn't right at all. But that's the bumper sticker. It takes a village, right? This is the communist way. No, it's the parents that should be influencing the child 100% in the beginning, until they're 7. And then they can go, like move out. They would be so smart. They really would be. I'm exaggerating, but I believe that we are retarding our children immediately, like so badly. The first thing we do is put them in fear. And then once you do that, they're open to suggestion, and it's all hypnosis. So when I speak about my imagination, I'm talking about my right to speak as a clinical hypnotherapist about consciousness and unconsciousness in emotional consciousness. Because that's where I was at. Judging people with your head or your emotions is a big difference. You judge with your head, you're just in a fantasy. You don't know what the hell you're talking about if you judge with your head, with what you know, like from your book learning, or just, I don't know. I don't want to talk about judgment right now. But in that fantasy part, because I hate it. I hate judges. I hate them. I feel you, and it's very ugly. Okay? I'm just going to tell you how I feel. I feel you. So it's an emotional response. It's not a judgment. I feel the judge. So, and people will feel you if you judge them after passing over, because we don't die and our emotions stay. They wake up, rather. They don't, because they're dead right now. And so my channel is all about trying to get people to be open to new perceptions and ideas. I am not saying everything I'm saying is right, okay? I am saying that I was downloaded with spiritual means, and if that means anything to you, then maybe, because it does to me. Because not only am I speaking about my imagination, and it's my own imagination, I'm speaking from my heart with my own story. My own story. Everything, like the redhead's going to come into the story. I was young. I was like a teenager. And I was very conscious of things. All my life I was, and I questioned everything. But now, since I saw my movie and my pineal gland was open to my emotions, I suddenly felt the strange thing about redheads. It could have been my stepfather. He was a redhead. But I felt this before I met him, when I was 8. But he was a redhead, and I was compelled. I had to sit on his knee and kiss him. And I remember revulsion, So I knew something was up with that guy right off the bat. And guys that come into a single parent home, it's just, nobody considers the reason other than the fantasy. And it is a fantasy. A lot of times. There are some good ones. I am not gonna sugarcoat this. I'm not gonna protect anybody's fucking feelings on it either. Okay? And I don't want you to either. That's the normal way to be on the subject. Normal. Not protecting feelings. Not looking for witnesses. I remember calling a private detective once on Frank, because I suspected. And I said to her, there's a sign. Like, even just saying it now, I know how retarded I was then. I don't even want to repeat it, because I was stupid. It's almost like permitting it, right? by being that stupid. There's no other way to look at it, girls. There's no other way to look at it. Now that I'm woke in my feelings and I want to die and cry every time I remember it, and yes, I'm going to remember it until I die, until this ego trip is finished, I must not forget. We tend to forget. We tend to blow over our problems and not remember. We remember war every year. Now, twice a year, I think. And we're so ignorant about the poppies and the symbology and my dead child and hundreds of thousands of other dead children, if not millions. Permitted, guys. I permitted it at home. This is my story. You're permitting it in the world. Family is humanity. That's why I'm here. All right, that was a tangent for a minute. I want to go back to the redheads and the blood because somebody had asked me about it. And Nima, I'm sorry about your phone call. I really, bless your heart. You know, I'm terrible with the phone. I really am. I need to pretty much have an appointment because I like to give you my attention if I'm going to talk to you. But if I'm distracted, like if you're going to diagnose me, doctor, it's ADHD type. And they're the best type of people, but they're kind of scatterbrained. So if you wanted to talk to me, I'm more than happy to email me a time and I'll make it there. And the other lady was wanting to know about the communion in Catholic, and this is weird, you know, because it's good timing. Because of my imagination and because of the thoughts that are coming up in it about that part. And I feel they're related in a way of manifestation. The hair. You know, I want to say it could be either manifesting as a victim or manifesting as a head chopper. That's what I think. I really do. Crazy bitch. Ouch, my heart. I gotta be careful. I do laugh a lot though, guys, because I'm in heaven. I really am. Because of my ability to work through this hell that I saw in my movie. And my good feeling that I'm able to get it out to the world. And if it doesn't go anywhere, it's not my fault. I do my movie, right? I'm not in charge of everybody. I'm not controlling anybody. Although I sort of try with dropping my links everywhere, you know, to get as many people as I can. Yes, I will work like that. But it just as much as it makes me feel good, you know, and then I stop if I don't. I'm going to be teaching you about setting goals pretty soon because that's a really important part of your evolution, something to look forward to. You need something to look forward to, for Christ's sakes. You guys are terrible. Okay. I'm sorry if I offend the Catholics, but it's all NLP. They've discovered hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming 3,000 years ago, or 3,000 BC. I've told you that. And that's why I know I went through the training. That's why I gone through everything that I talk about. I actually did go through everything I talk about. Even going to Ephesus where Mary I was beheaded. So I literally know what I'm talking about. I'm not just like, my imagination is connected to my my real experience. And spiritual. So I gotta add that too. The communion, the blood drinking, the flesh is nothing to do with Jesus, of course. Or, oh God, it's other than that you've demonized him, right? And you got him up there on the cross there to think of him like that instead of any other way, like love. Think about him like that. Scare the fucking kids. Ouch, my heart again. You're gonna scare the hell out of the kids, guys. You did. We're all petrified and horrified by this. I was. Well, I remember now. I wasn't raised a Catholic, so I can't talk on all of it. Honestly, I can't. I was Protestant, and the only and some of the strictest. I went to every Protestant one to try and find Jesus. Every fucking one of them. Anglicans, the real strict ones that were like the Catholics, they drank blood too. The communion thing. I can't remember. Was that Anglican? I can't remember. But one of the Protestant ones did. And I went to all the liberal ones too. I settled with the liberal one. Like, not liberal, but I mean like, you can go in jeans type thing. Well, no, because it was too rich. You had to look good, to show off. It was in the rich area. It was on Oak in Vancouver. Unity, that was it. Unity. And that was the one Trevor left. He said, no. At 13, he finally said, fuck it. And he went on to do drugs instead. That's why we have no love here. That's the problem, guys. We have no mothers. We have no love. And that's all we need. Fixed. Snap out of it. But I realize you're going to go through some emotional trauma. Well, here's a fix. You don't have to go through emotional trauma like I did. Because I did it. And I can walk you through it. And you can fix yourself quick. All it takes is living in the truth. Emotional intelligence is like lightning. Very quick. Once you get it. Emotionally, then you should be able to figure out everything. It's your first sense. Aristotle didn't give it to you. We don't know anything about the first sense. It's the one you're born with. It's why you're Christ. And you're Christ as an infant. Every infant is loved. I want you to know that. When you're born, you have a free imagination, and you are loved. And why does everybody love an infant? Why? Ask yourself, look around. Everybody loves an infant. Because it's Christ. And what are we doing? We're ruining ourselves, and we have ruined ourselves. But if some people understood the consequences of walking into the Garden of Eden, which that's the whole problem, guys. It's all of the religions. I'm not prejudiced here. They all have their rituals. The praying in certain directions 5 times, and the headgear. You know what, guys? That is so bad for your freaking head and your crown chakra. What the hell? Get that off your heads. I know that because I can't, and I'm very sensitive. I'm very, very sensitive. And I like to trust my senses. And since I am so sensitive and I trust my senses, take my advice. Don't put things on your head for any length of time if you get uncomfortable. Like as soon as I put it on, I get so uncomfortable. I have a picture of myself in Egypt. It's horrible. I had emotional reactions like you wouldn't believe. there. And then I bought some turbans here because I was turning into Mary. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was Mary yet. And I had this housekeeper. I had an Airbnb thing going on in my West Kelowna condo. And I had this housekeeper there that was from Morocco. And she got me some turbans. And they didn't hurt. I didn't hurt with them on. But that tight cap on your head with the scarf, that is the problem. Because I have tight cap thing, a couple of them, and no tight cap on your head. That's what it is. No tight cap. Okay. What else? I noticed when I went shopping yesterday something I'd never noticed before. Although I did notice one when I went to, like, a taxi guy a couple of years ago asked me to go to his church. And at the time, I thought I needed to get out and get to know people. And so this was just before the pandemic. So I agreed. Now, I didn't go for, God. I know I wasn't going to find Jesus there. But I went for the fellowship, right? Because that's often a good thing. You go for your fellowship, right? If you're having a good time, you go on, girl, for a fellowship. Or whatever, you don't have to have the heart of a priest, right? I wouldn't want one anyway. I'm losing my train of thought. Redheads. Okay, that was what it was. I have to go back to that. Sorry if I'm jumping around. The redheads. So that was one, but I also had that feeling before Dave, I feel, about the red hair. And those are just my feelings, and they're not my judgment, they're feelings. And then I noticed what connected me to this now was watching a couple of the redheaded people doing fear-mongering on the BitChute. And I couldn't help but notice they had red hair. And really bad ones. The worst ones did. I just couldn't help but connect these dots, I'm a dot connector. Because I have many other dots about it that I haven't expressed yet, but that's another dot. And then Alex Jones and a few others that are just terrible, 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 the worst of the worst. Real dupers that tell the truth with mocking, without the whole truth. And for our intentions to enrage. When they want to seek to enrage you, you gotta run, guys. You gotta run. You can't sit and watch. I can't watch them anymore. That's good because I quit smoking and my mind is going to learn French and play piano. That's going to be my goals. We'll get to that. Because I have to have something to look forward to like everybody else. And I don't know what's going on yet. And as long as I don't know what's going on, it's all fake. Right? So, because I'm healthy. Well, I have heart problems lately, and I just hope this quitting smoking isn't a bad idea. You know what that redheaded guy said? The Waters guy. he said that nicotine was actually good for disease. It was a blocker. Interesting, eh? But like I said, it's to scare, and it's a lot of fear mongering for reasons that are not pure. Not pure intended, because there's no solution. Nobody's offering solutions. And nobody's doing anything. They're just sitting there being entertained. It's genocide. Babies are being murdered. Hello. What do we do? I'm not I'm pretty sure this lockstep's locked in. So there's not a lot we can do. I think it's war. And I do believe it's Israel and China. Both. Because that's what I noticed when I was shopping. That's what I was going to tell you. I lost my train of thought. I was shopping. Yeah. This woman at the church. Okay, wait. Sorry, okay. I keep jumping around there. I'm just doing it with my memory and my dot connecting here. When I went to the church with that guy, there was a Jewish woman there. And I found that she was the only other white person, because it was a Pentecostal black church. And well, I knew it. I knew it. It had to be, because he was black, and I figured it would be. So, but it was a Pentecostal one. I thought that would be a good idea, because my grandmother is actually a Pentecostal, spoke in tongues. So I thought it might be an idea. And so I went there, and there was this Jewish woman there, and she got this instrument out, this little instrument. She was standing right beside me, and actually she got a ride with me. Like the cab driver picked me up and then her up. So maybe she was another customer, another recruit. But there she was, a Jewish woman, and she brought out her like a, I don't even know what it was, ukulele, I don't know, but they were all doing music. It was all musical. I love those kinds of things. I love music, because it's emotional. Everybody loves it. You're a spirit. We love emotion. And music is sometimes the best way to express it. You know, if it's not heavy metal or something that's going to depress you or make you think ill of anybody, or yourself. You don't want to. You want to turn songs around that make you feel good. Or instrumentals if you have to, but something that makes you feel good. And then when I was shopping yesterday, I noticed, holy cow, there's a lot of Jewish people in Quebec. I noticed my landlord has a new wife. Yeah, when I first moved here, first couple of years, he was a homosexual man, 60. He had many, many lovers. And then she showed up 2 years later, as if she had always lived here. So she was away or something. And they probably were married. He is a married man, I bet. And she's Jewish. But they have French names. So a lot of them change names too. And they're good people, And that's the thing, that what do we know? I know you have to look at it emotionally and tell with your feelings, not with your head, your fantasies. What feels right to you? It's your imagination. And you can go by somebody else's imagination if you want, but look where it's got us. Babies. You know, and all the fear mongering around the sterilizations, guys. And that one I can believe so much because yeah, I feel I was. Endometriosis, you know, it's a disease of the uterus. It just scar tissue everywhere. And just your uterus just disintegrates. It attacks your uterus, whatever it is. And I had so much pain and scar tissue and blood clotting throughout my whole 30s. It was a nightmare. And this is called suffering. And we don't even think another word about it. We don't think about our suffering. You can get used to even more suffering. We can be conditioned. And we are being conditioned. We are being groomed, and they're using programming. Television programming, videos, everything is programming, and people just don't realize the risks of our consciousness, which is the only thing that survives. You know, this imagination isn't ours. So it's destroying our emotional connections and our bonds. And that's a crime in my book. And it's going to be a book. That's the next thing. I really want to type this out. I don't want to put it out there in any reason other than for me to go into my story. That's why I want to do it, just for me to go into my story. If anybody wants to read it, I don't know, you'll have to get it printed. Because I just, you know, that's how I feel. I'm not here to make money. Everything I'm doing has to do with my story to save the world, which is what I said when I was a little girl. I'm going to save the world. Got big goals. I'm going to make love in the, make this place love again. Remember love. That's the only missing ingredient. Love. You don't start blaming now. Don't point fingers anywhere. Just love. That's it. No excuses. No reasons. No but. Just love. That's who we are. You'll see. And we're in a blackout here. This is a blackout. And a blackout of emotions. And a lot of people are getting them now. I notice that. People are scrambling with their emotions. I don't want anyone to scramble with your emotions. You have to deal with them. And you have to realize we were put here, you know. But then don't stop there. Don't just tuck it away and say, oh, well, we were put here. Nothing to do. No, you got to do something, guys. Each and everybody has to do something. We have to break the spell. We have to break the spell. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've already lost so much, blindly, willfully blindly. All those seniors in their care homes, I cry. And all those estate lawyer ads that were coming up, oh my God. I thought, oh. It's all about money. Everything's about money. Everything's about money. That's why they're so protected. That's what they use. and blackmail. And instead of telling the truth, they'd risk everything for everyone else. That's going to be in their movie. Where do you think that's going to put them when they watch, when they're back to their original state of Christ? Like, my heart's been broke. I have heart pain all the freaking time because of what I know. It's real. It's real. It's very real what's going on and has been going on. I remember my grandmother talking about her sister in the 1917 getting meningitis and her horrible experience. That is torture. All of it. All of it. You tell me it's healing. Good luck. And it's been a shame and how we have demonized our loved me. I'm demonized and so many others. My Aunt June and my cousin Johnny, who hung himself, and my Aunt June, who jumped out of a window, and all these other boys and girls who just aren't staying. And that's a crime in my book. And I blame the people. So I think people pick up on that. I kind of blame people, but I don't blame anybody independently. No. And I certainly would never do that collectively, like communists. Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. So. That's where I'm at. I don't know what you're going to do about it. But to deprogram from the hypnosis, keep following, because, eventually it might all clue in what I'm talking about. Because I know that when you're in the thick of things, in the thick of the fantasies, that it's just extremely hard to believe it's all bullshit. And that you've been duped into doing things, NLP programming yourself to do things that are evil. And the more left brain you are, the more gone from emotion. I don't think there's anywhere to go if there's no light. And I'm going to put that out there now too. Like, as far as feeling, if there's no more feeling, I just don't. I know Gary, he told me when I first met him, because he was an atheist, and I think he's one of those Kashmirans, his family. I really do. It's something about Gary. It even tasted bad. But he said that he had a dream or a feeling or something. He said something about that. He felt there was going to be nothing after death. There is nothing. And he might be right. I think that if your feelings have been evolving to nothing, because I sense that he didn't ever have feelings. And so some could evolve like that. So I don't worry about people who commit crimes. Honestly, I never do. It's not my fault. It's not my problem. I'm talking about crime. You know what crimes I'm talking about. The ones that matter to the soul. The crimes against our parents and children. I wrote the book Evil Eyes. Right? Evil Eyes, a daughter's memoir. So I know all about, not honoring your mother or father. But then again, I sure as heck don't blame myself. It's part of my journey, part of my story. My first book. Book 1. don't bother buying it because I don't get any money for it. And if I do, and I did just get a check for $10 and my royalty, I haven't had a royalty in a year. So, and then when I go cash it, it costs $10 because it's American and I don't have an American account. They get the little guy, like it's just, they make it, I could tell you everything. It's all designed to work against the poor and up. And especially our children now. And very little action, and I'm very concerned about that. I just don't know what's going on. That so few parents are. Is this all a lie? Is this all device talk? Or what's going on? Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening.